Popcorn Talk. We talk movies.
Screen Junkies Movie Fights. Powered by the Popcorn Talk Network. Now your host, Andy Signore.
Hey, Screen Junkies, welcome. I hope you had a wonderful Thanksgiving. We yet actually haven't had one because we have to be honest. We pre-taped this early so we can each enjoy the holidays.
Yes.
So let's be honest so everyone knows what's going on. But we didn't want to leave you without a movie fights this week, so we're doing a Fast and Furious fan submission fights round that we're very excited to bring you. So thank you for coming. As you don't know, we all are here to debate some amazing top pop culture topics. We have an amazing one, Star Trek versus Star Wars. Many fans have been demanding it for ages, and we're going to tackle it. I don't know how I'm going to judge that, but it's going to be fascinating.
The fans wanted it. They're going to get it.
So we're giving it to them. We also have Best Movie Trailer of All Time, Best Christmas Movie, lots of fun fan submissions that we're going to plow through. So let's try and get right to it. I want to thank everyone at Popcorn Talk Network and the Schmoes, Maria Menounos. Thank you guys so much for having us here. As you know, always the last round is a cue to the Honest Trailer, which will still ring true this week as well. And if you're watching the episode, as always, on the bottom right corner, you can click through to pick your fight if you don't find a fight fascinating enough, which you should, because these fights are awesome. So let's get to it and meet who's up on the panel today. Up first, we have, you know him, you love him. He's the host of the ScreenJunkies Show. It's Hal Rudnick.
Thanks for having me back, Andy. Excited to be here. Woot woot.
Wow, quick. I love it because we want to get to the battles. Next to him, you know him, you love him. He's a commercial actor and a famous friend of the show. He's on a lot. It's Mike Carlson.
Hi, Excelsior. Thank you for having me.
So happy to have you. Next to him, making his debut, he's been helping behind the scenes on Screen Junkies. It's Jason Inman.
Yeah, glad to be a face now, not just words.
It's so amazing. He has to usually produce and do this show for us, and now you get to finally come out there. It's so happy to have you. And as always, we've brought him back, the Dan Cam, hashtag the Dan Cam.
Hi, guys.
It's Dan Murrell.
What's up?
Are you ready to fact check us this week?
I'm ready to fact check us, and I'm more ready to eat some turkey.
I know, me too as well. The big news this week was Jurassic World trailer, which we talked about on Screen Junkies Show, and the Star Wars teaser, which we haven't actually been able to see up to this point, so we have to preface that, so beware, because there are some Star Wars topics, so just know in advance, we haven't seen it yet, the 88 Seconds of Glory. But let's get to, in the great words of Ken Watanabe,
let them fight.
Round one. We're going to start with another Star Wars question from a fan on Twitter. Official Wars asked, what should a Star Wars spin-off film be based on? Obviously, lots of rumors on what these standalone Star Wars movies are going to be, and Slash Film seems to have broken the scoop that it's a heist film with Boba Fett and other bounty hunters. That could be the case. It could be anything. What do we actually want to see a spin-off Star Wars movie be? Let's start with you, Hal.
Well, we absolutely want to see bounty hunters. That's the coolest thing that we haven't gotten enough of yet. I mean, if you check out that, Jabba's barge and all of the underworld places where the bounty hunters and the underbelly lurks, it's so cool looking. And Boba Fett, what a badass character. We want to see more of him. We have so much of the good and evil already, the good versus evil. Let's see some anti-heroes. That would be
you
awesome.
want Boba Fett?
I want Boba Fett, but I want the world of bounty hunters. I want just like the mafia, the trading, all the stuff that happens on the black market in Star Wars.
Mike.
First of all, I am a puppet man. We found that out a couple of weeks ago when I was talking about Botanicus from E.T. I'm a puppet man. I want a movie about the Yoda species, and they just call it the Yoda species, but because there's not an official name. Maybe we'll learn that in a movie. It can just be called Yoda species. It's about whatever planet they're from. Most people just know Yoda. There is a lady Yoda that is on the Jedi Council in Phantom Menace. Her name is Yaddle or Yaddle. I don't know exactly.
Yentl.
Yes.
Yentl.
That's Streisand. She can be in this too, though. That's fine. But I want a puppet-filled Star Wars movie. We love puppets. The cutest thing in Star Wars is when Yoda is like scrounging around in Luke's backpack and you see his little puppet bottom. You know what I'm talking about? And he's like throwing stuff around. I want a lot of it. I want it to be cute. I want to learn about the relationships. I just want a Muppets Star Wars movie is what I'm saying. Muppets Star Wars.
So not the Phantom Menace CGI Yoda?
No, we're talking practical puppets.
Got it. All right, Jason, what do you want to see?
I want to see a tie-in to one of the most famous Star Wars video games of all time. It's called Legends of the Old Republic. It's set 1,000 years before Star Wars. It's the glory days of the Jedi army versus the Sith army. There weren't just two of them. There were thousands of them. And that was the best part of the prequels, getting to see the Jedi at their height, getting to see people with two double-sided lightsabers. Imagine an army of 50 Jedis versus an army of 50 Siths. And guess what? We don't have to put somebody that's named Skywalker in there. We can just be Jedis and Sith and army. Let's battle.
So basically a prequel to the prequels.
Yes.
Fascinating.
I feel like we've been down that road already. Puppets, I mean, you're talking about Ewoks, you're talking about the worst foofy stuff of the prequels. Let's go to the coolest area possible, the world, the dark, gray, murky world of the bounty hunters.
Do you worry that the dark, murky world, the supporting characters, when they're brought to the forefront, may not have enough depth and that they're better left as supporting characters?
Well, you doubt the screenwriter, young Jedi.
First of all, I don't know that the video games, I believe they're not in canon anymore, so it would have to be somewhat like that. But here's the thing. These are both, maybe these will be good movies. They'll be action movies. They'll have a lot of, like, fighting in it. I want something totally different. We're getting the core movies. We're getting 7, 8, and 9. These are going to be filled with fighting and adventure. I want songs. I want dances.
Why not do
I
that
want
animated?
musical. We could do it animated.
Okay.
I'm fine with that. I would prefer puppets, though. Practical puppets with...
So you basically
like
want
Rock.
Yeah.
Yes!
So
Dark
That's
Crystal
what
Star Wars.
Mundy called my
Yeah,
Botanicus idea.
Mike,
Sure.
you know you're asking for our worst nightmare to be realized, the full Disneyfication of Star Wars.
I'm a big Disney fan. I welcome it.
I do, but I don't like. I love steak, and I love apple pie. I'm not gonna take my steak and apple pie and put it in a blender.
I would.
What is the plot line of the Yoda family movie?
Here's what I'm thinking. There's a couple different things. Maybe we just sort of learn about the whole like planet or whatever. Maybe it's sort of
Yoda
just
as a child?
Yoda as a child. Maybe it's sort of a high school adventure where Yaddle and Yoda meet. They fall in love, and we find out. Wouldn't that be interesting?
Alien high school.
Okay. The one way I would get behind that is if they could fully license Weird Al's Yoda. Okay, if that song was in the movie.
That's a point for me. Thank you. That's a great idea.
That was my idea.
I
met him in a swamp down in Dagobah.
Where a couple songs.
I don't know if we have the right.
Right. This is the opening. This is the open of the show. This is opening the movie. This is perfect.
Hell's
That's
selling
the
me.
opening
You
crawl.
aren't. What's the plot of the Legends of the Old Republic? Who's the character? Why am I invested in that?
Well, imagine it like the start of the discovery of the Sith. Like, you can start it out with the Jedi. We have no idea what the Sith are. They discover that wait a minute, there are these guys out there that can control lightning. There are these guys that can go out there and do these things. And it starts just this epic battle that lasts for 1,000 years because we learn that the Jedi Order has been around for 1,000 years. What's the first battle? What's even the battle that created the Jedi Order? Or, let's even go this far, it can be the Jedi that discovers the prophecy that settles Anakin, that starts all that stuff.
Do I really want more prequel?
All right, here's the
Do I
opening.
really want to go back and see more?
Here's the
Origins?
opening.
but it's
Here's
so
the opening
far.
scene. Here's the opening scene of the Bounty Hunter movie. Boba Fett is doing a deal with some Gungans, okay? And the Gungans are like, "We gave you the product. You like it, sir?" And Boba Fett's like, "You shorted me." And they're like, "No, we didn't." And Boba Fett blows a Gungan's head off. And then he looks into the camera and says, "I shot first."
Who plays Boba Fett in your movie?
Who plays Boba Fett? Yeah, Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
Oh man.
What?
I was so close to voting for you.
Frank
so
Oz.
obvious.
In my movie, Frank Oz plays all the roles.
In my movie, Yoda is still age appropriate. He can still be in it.
Well,
Well, you didn't like Joseph Gordon-Levitt
Dan.
in Looper?
Dan, any thoughts?
Andy, this may affect your decision.
Yes, please help me.
How you made a little bit of a slip up there. You said Boba Fett would shoot a guy and look into a camera and say, "I shot first." You're thinking of Greedo.
I know. No, I totally knew that was Han Solo and Greedo in the bar. I just,
Okay, but it would be weird if
borrowing
Boba
another-
Fett said, "I shot first."
I just wanted to.
Because he
take
always
it.
shoots first.
That's
too.
the Greedo's thing. I don't know. I'm sorry.
I was wrong. Boba Fett shoots first in the bedroom.
So this one's tough. I get yelled at for not picking enough points. So I got to pick a point. I'm not going to give multiple points here. The one I want to see most out of those, and it's not too much thanks to Hal, but I do probably want to see the Bounty Hunter movie more than the Yoda or another prequel to the prequels. So I'm going to be partial, and I'm going to go with I want to see. But I also am giving you points for Weird Al's Yoda because that did help Mike
Thanks, man.
Carlson's debate. All right, Hal wins the point. We got lots more to talk. Yes, Dan.
One other quick note. You said you wanted Phantom Menace Yoda when you talk about the puppets. You can actually have that both ways.
Oh, that's right.
Right, because he got replaced.
He was
Yeah.
both. He was both a puppet
Thank you.
and CGI in Phantom Menace.
Doing his job, fact checking. Good work there, Dan.
Depends on Blu-ray or theatrical.
Okay, moving on to round 2. The two biggest space franchises are out there, and let's settle it once and for all. The fans have asked us, demanded us to do this. Ben Salazar on Twitter is the one we selected here, so good job, Ben, you got in there. Star Trek versus Star Wars. I want to devote some time. I know we don't have as much time with this holiday schedule. There's a lot of shows taping today, but we got to spend some time on this. This is a hard one. We're going to start with you, Jason.
Okay. The underdog.
Yeah.
In this argument.
Who do we want to see? Star Trek or Star Wars? What's the best?
To me, you have to go Star Trek. Star Wars is an amalgamation of several different forms. It's the hero's journey, it's Joseph Campbell, it's old 1940 serials all mixed together. Star Trek broke new ground. Star Trek was unlike anything that had ever been seen before. It has the first interracial kiss, but primarily Star Trek is about us. It's not about an aristocratic family who controls all the midichlorians that controls the universe and can lead to its downfall. Star Trek is about 5 generations of us, humanity, getting over our bullshit here on Earth and working it out and going into the future. We go into space. Our know-how, our heart beats the Klingons, cyborgs, and even logic. Humanity wins. That is such a positive message. And I don't think there is anybody in all the Star Wars movies that can come close to the acting caliber of Patrick Stewart. Classically trained, the classic best captain of all of Star Trek.
Wow, good fighting words right out the gate. We're moving up to you, Mike. You're next. What do you think?
All right, Star Wars. First of all, this more people like it, more people connect with it. Star Wars is so popular that we're still complaining about the bad movies. When was the last time you heard someone complain about Star Trek V's ending? It's also terrible. It doesn't make any sense. No one likes any of the characters, but nobody cares because we are still talking about Jar Jar Binks. That is the impact. People were so let down because this is a thing that everybody likes and connects with. I mean, the Max Rebo band is more popular than any Voyager character. No one knows. Voyager, who cares?
Can you name everybody in the Max Rebo band?
I cannot, but people out there can. Max Rebo's certainly in his own band, though. I can tell you that. Oh, that might have been a better solo movie. Anyway. And Star Wars is fun. It captures the imagination of children. That's that thing more than anything. When you watch a child watch Star Wars, you can see that their imagination lights up. When a child sees Star Trek, they fall asleep. There's a lot of talking. There's a lot of discussion. And what are we doing here? It has to actually connect with people.
Wow, Hal.
Okay, one thing that I have to say first before I get into which I choose. First, I choose Star Wars. And one thing I have to immediately rebut, no one to compete with Patrick Stewart. What about Alec Guinness, who played Obi-Wan Kenobi, an amazing British actor?
True.
Okay. Yeah,
but
there you go. I'll take
a
true.
small role. I mean, Patrick Stewart did a lot more.
Obi-Wan Kenobi is small. He's
a supporting character in one
True.
movie.
He
He's
haunts
very
the entire
supporting.
series.
And he's a ghost. He's a ghost from
Stewart
most of the trilogy.
And the fact that he's a ghost, he's here with us now. So I go with Star Wars because the Force in Star Wars, some people count that as their religion. There's nothing as mythical and as impactful as the Force, as Jedi and Sith lore. And then also the music of John Williams. I mean, that makes the movies soar. There's something just so there's such a gravity to those first 3 movies, the ones starting with A New Hope and not the prequels, and there's nothing that Star Trek could ever do to touch those movies.
Well, I want to bring up a quick rebuttal point. If we want to bring up prequel versus prequel, there is no doubt that most everybody out there will vote the 2009 Star Trek prequel over all 3 of the Star Wars prequels.
That's a great point, though, because to make Star Trek more popular, they made it into Star Wars.
They did. I wouldn't even say that. They made Star Trek into a generic space action movie.
But then also, Star Wars wanted to be like Star Trek, that they hired its director that brought it back. They brought
because he made a Star Wars movie.
Mm-hmm. That you have James Kirk in it, you have the Enterprise in it, you have exploring in it. There's nothing to say that yes,
you have explore. Well, in
the look of it could be just modernization, not Star Wars. It's not making something look like Star Wars to make it look like a 7-year-old movie. It's called
let's not forget Star Trek does predate Star Wars.
Totally, by almost 15
Battleship
years.
Potemkin predates all of this. So should we talk about Battleship Potemkin?
That's not one of the three. That's
all right. I won't debate that.
Debate.
And the thing though about Star Trek, saying okay, Star Trek. Oh, what a culture! What it really shows us as people. Star Trek is just as weirdly racist. There's races of aliens that you're not supposed to trust.
The Star Wars isn't racist. There are some racist moments in Phantom.
The Empire
I didn't say that. I'm just
aliens.
saying in the argument that Star Trek is some sort of oh my gosh, utopian view of society. There are the Ferengi are these guys are shifty. I'm just saying that's not
that's
some
not
sort
racism.
of
That's just like a used car salesman. It's don't trust that used car salesman. That's
but
not
they're
racism.
they're a race of people.
Also, the respect for indigenous peoples in Star Trek Into Darkness, in the first scene of the movie, they totally screw with an indigenous people's society.
The Empire blows up planets. That's screwing with society.
Well, that's because the Empire is the embodiment of evil, and you just touched on one of the most beautiful things about Star Wars, in that it is the most perfect good versus evil story. Man, that is.
But the other thing,
very
about it
rarely
is
can you find
Star Wars is a fairy tale, almost a mythical fairy tale. Star Trek is pure science fiction, and by that, fiction can also be nonfiction. Science is in there. There's a lot. You can't put science behind the Force. That
doesn't make it a better thing. That doesn't make it a better thing.
But it makes it transcend. It makes it transcend because, again, it's us. There is none of us in Star Wars.
You know what makes
none
Star
of us
Wars?
in Star Wars.
None of us in Star
There
Wars.
is so
No
much
way.
humanity. Look at the humanity of Han Solo. Look at Luke's
The guy who
coming of
shoots somebody first at a table.
Yeah, I mean,
He was in fear for his life.
He's a cowboy, and then look at Luke Skywalker's coming of age and learning and confidence.
He's dreaming to be something bigger. That is something we can all relate to. It's like a Bruce Springsteen song. He's like, I'm getting out of here. I'm making something out of myself. We can all relate to that.
Just a small town boy.
Look at the perfect representation of a human psyche in Captain Kirk, Spock, and McCoy. You have will, you have logic, you have heart and emotion. No other television show, no other medium has perfectly represented the perfect position or full 100% of a human being than any other. That is it's the id, it's the ego, it's all that.
We also bring a good point of if we're talking TV shows, Star Trek wins. If we're talking movies,
because the other ones,
does Star Wars win? Yeah, I mean, would you argue that the movies of Star Trek are better than Star Wars?
The movies of Star Trek?
Yes.
See, there's no competition. I say as a franchise is the argument I'm making.
But
because
I get it, and
the trilogy is a classic. You can't.
So we're just arguing TV show wins, movie Star Wars wins. Are you even admitting that?
Does that mean I lose the fight? Then
No.
Then no.
No,
Never
because-
give up, never surrender.
But I'm just curious if you would fight for the movies as better than Star Wars, which I wasn't saying you had to.
I think Wrath of Khan, Star Trek II, could be considered equal to Return of the Jedi. Is it better than Empire? No. Is it better than A New Hope? No. But equal to Return of the Jedi? I think there's a strong argument there.
Now, which TV shows are you actually including in that? Just the original series?
No, you have to go original series, Next Generation, and Deep Space Nine, because Deep Space Nine is the first serialized television show, doing it before television shows were not even serialized. They were in the 1990s, and every episode storyline led into they were a precursor. Again, Star Trek breaking new ground.
It did break a lot of ground. Guys, did you guys watch all 3 series on TV? Were you fans?
I watched a lot of the Deep Space Nine. I've watched the least of. For some reason, I've watched a lot of Voyager,
and that's one of the worst.
Well, I'm just saying, look, the show. I like these shows, but we're talking about what is better, Star Trek or Star Wars, and I believe that Star Wars has had the bigger impact on me and the world. That's my general.
Absolutely, and look at the anticipation of the new movie. You didn't have that for Star Trek.
I would go see this new movie. I would go see this new movie if George Lucas was writing and directing them. I would be first in line. I would be like, well, this is...
But you have to...
I would be like, this is really going to suck, but I mean, okay.
There's also an argument to be made that Star Wars is more popular in America and Star Trek is more popular internationally, because in Europe, all over the place, they have Star Trek conventions every other month. We don't have those here. We have one in Las Vegas. We only have one Star Trek convention.
People
Star
trek
Wars
out.
convention.
People trek out in the USA.
They do.
They
do.
Trek
But
out,
it seems to be like every other. I have a friend who lives in London, and he talks about Trek conventions all the time. It's like every other week he's going to a Trek convention.
My chair just broke. The original TV series is fantastic, Star Trek, but I don't think it's because of the.
So is Next Generation.
Yeah, but I'm talking for a different reason. I don't think it's because solely the science and the humanity, the campiness, the fun of it, the silliness. There's a little bit. Yeah, there's a lot of it.
That Kirk is the cowboy who will shoot first and sleep with the women,
and hooking up with alien women. But it was very silly. Oftentimes, Star Wars has this gravity.
There is also
between the two. It's Star Wars and then Star Trek.
But there's also the argument of how much Star Trek has transcended popular culture. Yeah, it's like you make the argument that more people are like more jazzed about the Star Wars movie, but go out to somebody on the street, a random stranger, and say "Beam me up, Scotty." They know what you're talking about.
Well, they know go up to use the force as well.
Yeah. But just to say that it's more popular is two sides of the coin.
Live long and prosper.
Me not understand.
Also, Star Trek has
Misa Jar Jar Binks.
Star Trek has created technologies. The cell phone is from Star Trek. All these scientists grew up in the 60s watching Star Trek and being like, "Oh, I need to make a communicator. We have a flip phone.
What do you got that's as cool as a lightsaber?"
Oh, in Star Trek?
Yeah.
Warp drive.
The holodeck.
The transporter.
I'll take the lightsaber.
In the holodeck, you could have a lightsaber.
Okay, imagine cutting your Thanksgiving turkey with a lightsaber.
Well, yeah, that is cool. I mean, we can't disagree with that.
Yeah.
But for every Locutus episode, there is an episode where they spend a whole episode in the Old West, and Worf is wearing like Western gear, and you're watching this, and you're like, this is something my grandfather would watch and be like, oh, this is entertaining.
Nowhere in Star Trek does B. Arthur sing a song to Chewbacca.
And I'm disappointed.
You're talking about the Christmas special.
The Star Wars Holiday Christmas special.
Well, Star Wars
Captain
Holiday special.
Captain Janeway spends so much time with a hologram of Leonardo da Vinci. I mean, this is like the most like
nowhere in Star Trek do you meet a tiny cousin It that looks horrible.
Okay, so if you let's give Star Wars a mulligan on that, and we'll give Star Trek a mulligan on like 3 out of the 5 first movies it made.
I gotta make a call on this, and it's not fair to make a call because let's admit they're both great.
They are both great.
Yes, I agree. Yes. I agree.
Selfish choice.
I'm gonna make a judgment because I gotta. I'm the judge. I think Star Trek is the underdog here, but it shouldn't be because it's been around forever. It's been around longer than Star Wars, and I think the prequels suck, and they sort of defend. But I feel like Star Trek was able to span so many generations, whereas Star Wars did out of 3 movies. So maybe that is a fair reason why it's still impressive, just because 3 movies did it, whereas so many franchises of Star Trek. But I'm just going with Star Trek. Woo! I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna go against the norm. I think we're gonna try it. Let's see what happens. Argue with me in the comments. Yeah. All right, round 3.
By the way, Star Trek predates Star Wars by 11 years.
Oh, okay.
That's great. That makes me feel even better about my choice. Thank you. Okay, round 3. Jacob Cleary on Twitter asks this wonderful question. If you had to pick one movie to represent humanity to aliens, which would it be? So we're keeping a space theme here. If aliens came down, what movie would you show them first? Mike?
I would show them It's a Wonderful Life, because this is a movie that shows the human condition, shows what we go through, shows a town, what a town might be like. It shows problems that a town might have. It shows everything about humanity that you would want in one movie. And it also shows our human spirit to persevere when times get tough. And you can interpret that angel in the movie as a literal angel, as a figurative angel. I like to think that it was something inside of him that said, this is the impact I've made as a human. I am important. I choose to keep living my life. And you show that to aliens, and I think they will understand a little bit about the human experience.
Wow, deep answer. That's not what I expected from you.
Thank you.
Hal?
Okay, so when the aliens arrive, they're either ready to hold out an olive branch and break bread with us, or they're going to come to try to wreck shop and take us and probe us and use all of our fuels to feed their little larvae babies. So we got to let them know that, hey, we have an indomitable spirit, and we're not fooling around. And if you have a sense of humor, you'll enjoy this. But if you came with bad intentions, you're gonna think twice, mother father. Independence Day.
Took a long
ID4.
while to get.
Yeah, that was a long
ID4.
ID4. You show them ID4, you give them Bill Pullman's speech, you let them take a long, hard look at their intentions, and
You want to defend the aliens?
No, if they have a sense of humor, then they'll be
That's
fine.
a big
Stay away from Max.
There was
aliens.
if there was an enemy of yours and you were going to go meet him or a person you might not get along with, would you dress up like his mother and then have somebody pretend to shoot you and then give him the tape of it?
You know what? Okay, if you wanna meet the aliens with your dick in your hand and holding a pizza pie, that's fine. But
Welcome to Earth.
Yep.
Mike, what would you pick? I'm sorry, Jason. What would you pick?
I'm gonna go Close Encounters of the Third Kind, kind of for a similar reason, like with Hal. Except for in Close Encounters, it shows the aliens are bad side, but it shows that with the power of Richard Dreyfuss, and if we play around in our mashed potatoes enough, at the very end we can use the power of music and lights to communicate with the aliens enough that they'll be like, "Oh, cool, come on the spaceship with us. You're actually all right."
These both, though, there's a chance that these are both offensive stereotypes to these aliens. We don't know what these aliens are like, and they're going to be like, what? How do humans think we are? They think we just communicate via lights?
Mike,
we're so much more than that.
Enjoy the rest of your life enslaved by your alien overlords.
Why do you think
Bow
the
down.
aliens? Why do you think the aliens are going to be able to understand Frank Capra?
They won't necessarily be able to understand Mr. Capra, but they will see an approximation of what the human, especially American experience is on screen.
I agree, and I
The
think it's a
American
fair
experience.
question because how would they understand any of these movies? If they
True.
can understand one movie, they're going to understand them all. And honestly,
They
I'm
will-
impressed with your selection, Mike. I think that is the
Thank
right
you.
answer. And I think the other two could potentially annoy them with seeing aliens that aren't potentially them. So
Welcome
let's
to Earth.
Let's give Mike the points. Moving on to round 4.
How you're gonna kill us all.
Michael Bay has announced he's not directing Transformers 5, thank God. So Tiger Ortiz asks the question, which director could make a good Transformers movie? Hal, we're starting with you.
I gotta go James Gunn. He made such an awesome film this past summer. He proved he can make a blockbuster, A. And secondly, one of my biggest drawbacks of the Transformers films is these robots, besides being just grossly racist or something, don't have really strong personalities that you couldn't really latch onto them. James Gunn was able to give fun and personality to a tree that could say 3 words. He was able to make that the most beloved character of the summer, and he made such a fun intergalactic adventure. I think he could do the same thing for the Transformers. He could give that movie a fun spirit. I mean, there is no better choice than James Gunn.
Jason.
I'm going to go with Neil Blomkamp, the director of District 9 Elysium, because he has a strong foothold in science fiction. And plus, the guy loves robots. Robots or some mechanical thing have shown up in every movie he's made, even the mechanical suits of Elysium. His next movie is Chappie, about a robot. But the greatest thing about his robots is that they're real. They have dirt on them. They have oil. They leak grease. They fire off steam. So we'll get a very real-world grounded science fiction Transformers movie, and it won't be a Transformer that just goes choo 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 choo. And plus, we've already kind of seen this Transformers fight that he would do. It was in District 9 when the prawn got in the mech suit and they had a giant fight. So we've got a preview of what his Transformers movie will be like. I think it'll be amazing.
Mike.
Michel Gondry. Practical Transformers. We've seen, look, CGI is fine. I want practical Transformers. I go to Universal Studios, I see Bumblebee walking around, I see Optimus Prime, and that feels real to me. I believe that Michel Gondry would do a similar thing. He's also a guy that has a lot of heart in his movie. He really cares about character relationships. I'm tired of the Transformers movies having like humans be at the forefront of them. These are movies about the Transformers. We could take the movie to Cybertron. Was that their home? Dan?
Maybe?
Yes. I'm going to say
Cyber-
yes, but I'll fact check it.
Okay. We could take the movie there. I want to learn, and this might be similar to my Yoda idea as well, but like I want to learn about their lives, what their romances, their hopes, their dreams. And Michel Gondry would give us a very cool, quirky Transformers movie. I don't need to see
Way
it from
too
these
quirky.
two guys.
I mean,
we've seen these like big budget. How these guys can? These two guys.
I don't
want to
see the Transformers
movies.
made out of paper, which is
Yeah.
what I think Michel Gondry would give us.
Yeah, he can be so goofy, his movies. They can be so silly. And you trust a Transformers budget to Michel Gondry?
I sure do.
Oh, no way.
Did you see Green Hornet?
Yes, I did see the Green Hornet. And
It's
look,
kind of a mess.
it's a bit of a mess.
And then, as far as Blomkamp, I love his movies. I think Elysium is underrated, and District 9 is a science fiction classic. But he's got too serious a tone for a Transformers film.
I mean, it looks like Chappie is going to change that. Like, we haven't seen it now, so it's all speculation. But from Chappie, it's definitely going for the kid-friendly kind of, like, Chappie's a very happy, friendly robot. He loves music. He does stuff like that. James Gunn, I feel, needs people. He I don't feel, can do inanimate objects. He needs characters. That's the reason why Guardians of the Galaxy connected and Super.
I gotta go. We gotta call it because sadly we're running out of time, annoyingly. But I gotta give it to Jason on that. I think what you just said sold me because I don't think there's enough character in Transformers for James Gunn to really capitalize on, and I don't want to see a paper Transformer. And I just think he needs to do an indie movie. This is too big for Michel
foil.
Gondry.
It could be aluminum foil. It doesn't have to necessarily be paper.
So I'm giving it to Jason. All right, we're running out of time. Sadly, I think we're going to do some speed rounds is what I'm going to try and do quickly so we can actually get through these rounds. I apologize we're not fighting, but we're going to do a minute a round quickly. We're going to get through these. I want quick answers, Hal.
Yeah.
All right.
Round 5.
That's what I do.
Disney Marvel fan on Twitter asked, best Christmas movie. Fast. Let's do it. Jason.
Dark Horse, Bad Santa. It's an adult Christmas movie. It's not repetitive. It's not like all touchy-feely. It has a lot of good humor, and plus, it's John Ritter's last movie.
Mike.
Miracle on 34th Street. This is a common theme with me this week, but it's about hope, it's about belief, it is about faith, and it also has all that fun Christmas stuff we love.
Hal.
Let's not be too cute with this. It's a Christmas story. It's the modern classic of Christmas movies. It has the childhood hope. It's like, it makes you feel kind of naughty when you're watching it as a kid, too. You can join in that movie from anywhere. It's on all the time, and we love it. We are not sick of it.
Hal wins. Moving on to round 6.
Wow.
Good job, Hal.
Thanks.
I agree. That's a great movie. You want some fun.
Yeah, let's not beat around.
Round 6. George Castillo asks on Twitter, best movie trailer of all time. We're starting with you, Mike.
Green Lantern, because a movie trailer is supposed to sell a movie. When you have a good movie, it is easy to cut a good trailer out of it. When you have a bad movie, it is hard to cut a good trailer. That second Green Lantern trailer with Sinestro comes down and he's talking to the Corps is a good trailer. I was so psyched to see that movie. What a letdown. Imagine how good that trailer had to be cut to make that bad movie be sold.
That's what every trailer does and has to do, though, Mike. I'm talking about a trailer that got you so excited for the movie. It was Cloverfield. No other trailer got us talking about what the hell does this monster look like. It created more buzz than any other trailer that I could remember.
Jason.
I'm going Inception because it started with the opening credit of directed by the director of The Dark Knight. Dark Knight Rises had not come out yet. It gives us the blah that every trailer since then has copied. It shows us
Was the blah in the trailer for Inception, or did that come after?
It was. It was in the trailer. It was in the trailer. There are mashups now of videos of other trailers that have copied this trailer. So many people, buildings falling, everything.
I think that does define it because right now that's created the new generation of trailers. Jason wins it for Inception.
Hey, can I just fact check and say that it's wrong that nobody said Independence Day?
Yes. You
Thank
can.
you.
And
Sure.
it's over. Round 7. Jacob clearly on Twitter asks, which movie character would you want to be best friends with? Let's start with Hal.
I'm gonna go with Bill Murray from Lost in Translation. Okay.
Okay, Jason, your turn.
I'm going Phil Coulson because he collects Captain America cards. He's a fanboy like us. He can take you to parties with Iron Man, and plus, even if he gets shot by Loki, he's still alive out there, and he'll leave you a life model decoy that you can hang out with.
Jason.
Michael.
Oh, sorry. That's
okay.
You guys are sitting in the wrong spot.
That's fine.
Yeah.
Mike.
Morgan Freeman is God and Bruce Almighty because, first of all, he's cool and he would hook you up because he's God.
I didn't get to give my argument.
I would drop this mic if it was
Do you want to
available.
be best friends with God? Really?
With an omnipotent being?
Sure.
It's a challenge.
Phil Coulson is one of ours. He's a guy like us.
My quick argument.
You know what? I gotta pick Agent Coulson because he helped our buddy Devin Coulson.
Yeah.
Clark Gregg, I love you. So I'm being partial to get us through that. And I think he would be a good friend.
Yeah.
He really looks out for his friends. All right. Now that we have a few minutes left, we're going to spend a little bit of time on this last question, which is a cue to the honest trailer for this week. Our trailer next week is a reboot sequel of a 1970s sci-fi movie that stars a lot of apes. Take that as you will.
It's very subtle, Andy.
So, connected to a question that Mark Williams asked, which movie would you reboot? Jason.
The movie I want to see is The Rocketeer because it has everything. It has Nazis. It has a jetpack built by Howard Hughes. It has blimps in it. It's set during World War II. It's mind-boggling why this didn't have a sequel. It almost did have a sequel. And I think you could do a reboot now with modern special effects, make it look good, or else I'll even go do this. Make it a sequel. Set it during the 60s. Have it be his daughter who finds the jetpack, and make it a Mad Men / James Bond with a jetpack set during the period of women's lib.
Mike.
Three Ninjas. I would like to see and I'm not joking here, I would like to see a cool, grounded reboot. Some 3 kids that are beating the crap out of bad guys, and this is a thing that could spin off into a multi-franchise picture. Kids love watching other kids do cool stuff. I loved it. I read Robin. I read Impulse as a child. I think kids will love this franchise, and it'll be a huge hit.
Hal.
I'm going with Alien and Aliens. Let's forget about Prometheus. Alien and Aliens, you have no cooler creature that's ever been created in movie history.
You want to reboot Alien?
Yeah.
They just did that with Prometheus.
No, forget about that. We need more aliens. Aliens.
I don't like
You're
that.
talking
Aliens.
strictly xenomorph kind of movie.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
I'm talking
You're
xenomorph.
rebooting it
Yeah.
or you're continuing it?
Rebooting it, but with the same creatures. So, yeah.
Isn't that sort of Prometheus?
A little bit. Yeah.
Sort of.
Sort
Fact
of
checker,
is the
Dan.
answer.
It kind of
Sort
in
of
my
the
personal
answer.
opinion, it is sort of the same thing as.
Hal loses.
Plus, you want to wipe Ripley off the face of the map?
I like Rocketeer and Three Ninjas though. So Hal, if you'd like to chime in on this, those are both I think could be fun things to see again. Hal, what do you think?
Three Ninjas could be a lot of fun, especially
the gritty
in
Three
the right,
Ninjas.
Yeah, the gritty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I got to give you both a point because I want to see both of those movies.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Wow. Some fans are going to be annoyed we didn't really give the fight the due, but we had to. It was better to fight some than not fight them all.
I fight it all, yeah.
So I'm tabulating our points because you each got a point for that round, and I'm sorry going through my notes here.
I've got your final tally.
Do you have
if
my
you'd
final
like it.
tally?
Yeah.
Dan? Who is our winner?
It was a runaway. Jason takes it 5 to 2.
Whoa! Really? Oh,
2?
Wow. That's not what I had, but okay, I'll take
I
it.
think that's not right.
I don't think
Not-
You won, but I don't.
Oh,
It was
you're right.
Fast and Furious, but I'm almost.
No, Hal got a
positive.
third there.
Yeah.
No,
Mike-
Hal didn't get a left.
Oh,
but
you're
Mike
right.
got one there.
You're right. He is correct. Dan, the fact checker, never doubt the fact checker.
Never done the
Wow,
Support
Jason's
the Dan
first
Cam.
episode just slayed it.
Yes.
Wow.
Good for you, man. That means we'll have to have you back. We're out of time. I'm sorry we had to rush through some of that, but hopefully you enjoyed it. I hope you had a wonderful holiday. We all do as well. Quick, some things I want to book you and go through. Obviously, on YouTube, please comment on our Twitter. What fights do you want to see next? We always want to hear what you want to see. Also, if you're watching on YouTube, please know we're on iTunes as well with audio versions of the show. Links are in the description below. Please show your love by rating, comment, etc. Also, obviously, if you're listening on iTunes, please check us out on YouTube. I want to thank Popcorn Talk Network. So many fun things. If you like our show, you really need to check them out. Fun, awesome shows like Meet the Movie Press, Marvel Movie News, Jedi Alliance, Anatomy of the Movie. So much cool stuff. Please, 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 Screen Junkies, go right now and check out youtube.com/Popcorn Talk Network and tell them Hal sent you. How about that? We will see you next week. Thanks again for my awesome panelists, Hal Rudnick, at Hal Rudnick. Any plug?
Yeah, hit me up on Twitter, and don't forget to check out the Screen Junkies show on YouTube.
Mike Carlson, at Fat Carlson. Anything you'd like to plug?
Just Botanicus TV show still, I guess.
Really putting that hard.
Yep.
Jason Inman at Jawin. Anything you'd like to plug?
This podcast, and also I do a Star Trek web series, The Red Shirt Diaries. That's why I argued Star Trek.
Please just go support and check out the Red Shirt Diaries. I'm Andy Signore. Follow me at Andy Signore. Follow all of us. Tell us what you want to see.
Dan
we
Murrell.
hope you had Dan Murrell at the Dan Cam.
Yeah. At Merle Dan on Twitter, and I'll also plug Botanicus.
Thank you.
We all want to love Botanicus. Thank you guys. Have an awesome. We already had a holiday, I guess. So I hope you had an awesome holiday. See you next time.
Bye-bye.
We will talk Star Wars.
Every podcast we put on YouTube comes with this kick-ass graphic listing all the topics your favorite Screen Junkies podcasters are talking about. If you click the topics, you can skip around and choose your own podcast battle royale. Go ahead, try them all. If you haven't already, subscribe to Screen Junkies on YouTube to join us for future fights. Or if you prefer to listen on iTunes, click the logo to download an audio version. Lastly, please support our friends at the Popcorn Talk Network for more awesome shows.